In a sudden burst of explosive power, Jibril breaks free of Abba's hold and swerves his body, knocking the giant to the ground with a heavy thud that shakes the ground. Jibril quickly pins Abbas down before he could react, and the referee announces Jibril as the winner and Nadia's husband-to-be. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a strong and handsome young man named Jibril. He was admired by all in the village for his physique and wrestling skills, and he dreamed of marrying the most beautiful woman in their village. In Jibril's village, it was an old tradition that the winner of the annual wrestling competition gets the privilege to marry the most beautiful maiden in the village. For many years, Jibril has witnessed his fellow men participate and lock bodies in this battle of strength and grit for a chance of betrothal to Nadia. Nadia, the most beautiful maiden with smooth ebony skin that gleamed in the sun, a curvy body, and a face that rivals the splendor of the first full moon of the harvest season, Nadia was without doubt the most stunning beauty in Jibril's village. Year after year, eager men sweated and strained their muscles to outlast all competition in their bid to get a wife. And year after year, Nadia was ripe for marriage. Nadia shyly sitting beside her parents Malik and Hawa as all eyes fall upon her, the ultimate prize for this grueling fight of might and will. This year, fueled by encouragement from his best friends Abdul, Chima and Adam, Jibril feels more confident that no man can stand in his way. But Jibril has been training relentlessly, and this time he believes his efforts and techniques can get him the most beautiful maiden. As the sun rises on the 7th day of the 7th month, Jibril feels his heart thunder in his chest as he joins the congregation of wrestlers in the village square. The crowd roars as wrestlers pair up to grapple and shove, muscles bulging and feet scraping soil as each man seeks to send his opponents back to the dirt. Hour after hour, the losers walk away in disappointment as the winners leave to wrestle another round, until only two men remain standing, Jibril and Abbas, a strong, huge and rich young man. Jibril wastes no time, lunging swiftly like a predator ready to grab Abbas with immense force. But like an ox used to plowing fields at dawn, Abbas stands firm and uses his mighty arms to try locking Jibril's neck. Back and forth they squirm, sweat drenching their skins, as cheers for Jibril and Abbas ring in both men's ears. In a sudden burst of explosive power, Jibril breaks free of Abbas' hold and swerves his body, knocking the giant to the ground with a heavy thud that shakes the ground. Jibril quickly pins Abbas down before he could react, and the referee announces Jibril as the winner and Nadia's husband-to-be. In following days, the villagers prepared for Jibril and Nadia's wedding day with much joy and feasting. All rejoiced for Jibril and praised him for his efforts in the wrestling arena. Except Nadia's father Malik, who was less pleased with Abbas for losing in the wrestling contest. He was skeptical if Jibril could care sufficiently for his precious Nadia, famed for her unparalleled beauty and accustomed to living comfortably under his prosperous provisions. The day arrives for Jibril and Nadia's wedding ceremony, held underneath the giant Iroko tree in the village square. All the guests were dazed when Nadia appears, gliding gracefully to where Jibril stands tall. Adorned in brightly patterned fabrics and gold jewelry, with perfectly braided hair decorated by fragrant flowers, Nadia looks every bit a goddess descended amongst mere mortals. Her lush eyelashes flutter over sparkling eyes as she takes Jibril's hands, the veil over her face still hiding her flawless features. As Jibril lifts the veil, he hears the cheers and murmurs loudly across the crowd. Now seeing Nadia's face in its full glory, Jibril's throat goes dry and his broad chest tightens, mesmerized by her beauty. As custom dictates, he leans forward for their first kiss as husband and wife, mesmerized by her full lips that shimmer like the reddest hibiscus bloom. Many days and nights after their wedding, Jibril is filled with pride over his gorgeous wife Nadia, who walks by his side. But Jibril started noticing that Nadia interacts unpleasantly with the other villagers, speaking to them in a rude, entitled manner. He also found out that Nadia has been mistreating their house help Solina, when angry over small matters, causing the poor maid to shed tears. One day, while returning from the forest, Jibril witnesses Nadia heavily scolding some village children who accidentally brush past her fancy gown bought from traders who visit from the big city. When Jibril confronts Nadia, she remains unapologetic and replies the foolish dirty children must be more careful around their elders. Jibril's heart sank as he increasingly finds Nadia displaying selfish and unkind behavior, caring little for others she deems beneath her beauty and status. The more her ugly personality shows through, the more Jibril's attraction to her physical beauty starts diminishing rapidly. He confides in his friends Abdul and Chima one late evening, and they advise Jibril to talk to her about respect, inner beauty, and selflessness, and to give Nadia some time to change and reflect on her wrongdoings and leave her if she refuses to change her character towards people. Several weeks later, a newcomer named Habiba arrives in the village with her grandmother and two younger siblings. Having lost their parents, the four of them had wandered destitute from village to village until they discovered this settlement with kind people who provide them food, shelter, and purpose. Habiba begins working for Hawa, Nadia's mother, who is a seamstress, learning skills that can support her family. Jibril's first encounters with Habiba was when he visited his mother-in-law to have his clothes tailored one afternoon. He observes her patience, good humor as she calmly manages Hawa's many demands while nursing her younger siblings on breaks. Through open conversation, Jibril finds Habiba wise, engaging, and her words filled with compassion and humility. In no time, Habiba becomes well-liked amongst villagers for being generous and free-spirited, often seen offering food baskets, words of comfort and help to those with heavy loads. The villagers remark Habiba's inner warmth and loving-kindness beyond her average beauty. Jibril feels his heart stir one sunny day when he crosses paths with Habiba cradling baby goats, her simple gown but regal, and her smile lifted his spirit. He now realizes that while Habiba does not possess Nadia's striking looks and beauty, Habiba's graceful gentle soul resonates beauty that penetrates right into his heart. At this moment, Jibril knows with complete clarity what matters most: to walk alongside one blessed with genuine inner beauty like Habiba's. That night, after late meal with Nadia, Jibril gently appeals to her conscience and asks if she can reflect on her unpleasant attitude. Stunned by Jibril's honesty, Nadia flies into a fury and accuses him of insulting one as gorgeous as her over some meaningless poor villagers. Jibril shakes his head, sadly see that Nadia is not ready to reflect on her wrongdoings, and makes his final decision. He seeks annulment from selfish Nadia, who only values surface beauty but puts no effort to cultivate inner beauty reflected by good deeds. Nadia left saying no woman in the village could match up to her beauty, thinking Jibril would come back for her. Jibril got close to Habiba and they became friends. A year later, the village all gathered to celebrate the wedding between Jibril and his new wife Habiba. United in marriage, Jibril lovingly gazes at his humble angel and hearted bride by his side. He reminds kids and fellow villagers that focusing too much on outer beauty alone fools the eye, for it is inward qualities of grace, empathy, and human spirit that reveal genuine beauty and pave the path for lifelong joy.